Saudi Arabia has expanded access to its stock market for foreign investors, making it one of the most discussed emerging markets among global investment professionals. For many American investors, the idea of investing in Saudi Arabia raises important questions about access, risk, and long-term opportunity. This video explains how Americans can gain exposure to the Saudi stock market, what sectors dominate the market, and what risks should be considered before investing. Saudi Arabia's primary stock exchange is known as Tadawul. It is the largest stock market in the Middle East and plays a central role in the country's economic strategy. Over the past decade, Saudi regulators have gradually opened the market to foreign capital under controlled and regulated frameworks. Direct ownership of individual Saudi stocks by U.S. retail investors is limited. However, this does not mean Americans are excluded from participating in the Saudi market. Most exposure occurs through regulated financial products that are available on U.S. exchanges. One of the most common ways Americans invest in Saudi Arabia is through exchange-traded funds, often referred to as ETFs. These funds hold baskets of Saudi equities and trade on U.S. stock exchanges like regular stocks. By purchasing shares of these ETFs, investors gain indirect exposure to Saudi companies without needing a local brokerage account. The Saudi stock market is dominated by several key sectors. Energy remains the largest and most influential sector, reflecting the country's role as one of the world's leading oil producers. Large energy companies provide stability to the market and often generate significant cash flow. Banking is another major pillar of the Saudi market. Saudi banks are known for strong capitalization and consistent dividend payments. Many investors are attracted to the banking sector for income-focused strategies rather than rapid growth. Telecommunications and infrastructure companies also play an important role. As Saudi Arabia continues to modernize and expand its digital and physical infrastructure, these sectors are expected to remain central to long-term economic development. A major driver behind Saudi Arabia's market reforms is a long-term economic strategy often referred to as Vision 2030. This initiative focuses on reducing dependence on oil revenues, expanding private sector participation, and attracting foreign investment. Capital markets are a critical part of this strategy. For investors, Vision 2030 represents both opportunity and uncertainty. Large-scale infrastructure projects, tourism development, and privatization efforts could support long-term growth. At the same time, these initiatives depend heavily on government planning and execution. Dividend income is one of the most commonly cited reasons investors consider Saudi equities. Compared to many U.S. growth stocks, Saudi companies often prioritize dividend distributions. This makes the market appealing to income-oriented investors, particularly during periods of global market volatility. However, investing in Saudi Arabia also involves risks that should not be ignored. Oil prices continue to influence the broader economy and market sentiment. Sharp changes in energy markets can affect government revenues and corporate performance. Government involvement in the economy is another key consideration. While state support can provide stability, it can also limit transparency and market flexibility. Policy changes may occur more rapidly than in Western markets. Currency risk is lower than in many emerging markets because the Saudi riyal is pegged to the US dollar. This reduces exchange rate volatility but also limits potential currency-driven gains. For American investors, Saudi exposure is best viewed as part of a diversified global portfolio rather than a standalone investment strategy. Combining Saudi market exposure with U.S. and other international assets can help balance risk and return. This content is provided for educational purposes only and does not constitute financial advice. Investors should conduct independent research or consult a qualified financial professional before making investment decisions. For a more detailed breakdown of access methods, sector analysis, and sample portfolio allocations, download the full Saudi market guide linked in the description.